Our final team of the Southwest Division, the Houston Rockets, they are definitively sellers, but they also are kind of in this weird spot where they need a consolidation trade, just because they have so many just guys on the roster, and they're not all good, but a lot of them are intriguing. They don't all fit together, but some of them might. Some of them warrant bigger roles. Some of them warrant smaller roles. I think you look at them and you can say, well, when looking at the consolidation trade, we know that Tari Eason, Jalen Green, Kevin Porter Jr. is a poison pill, and then Alperen Şengün and Jabari Smith, those guys aren't going anywhere. Like, you just get into the names. Eric Gordon should be traded. And then you have Josh Christopher was losing minutes to Dacian Nix at one point. You have Garrison Matthews. Usman Garuba still barely plays. Does KJ Martin still want to be there? He only has a year left. Are you going to pay him? Jayshawn Tate is even just like a guy where it's, oh, I've seen the reports that Houston considers him part of their core, but he's not. Like, is he part of their core, especially now that you have the emergence of Eason?
Right.
Ty Washington's not playing. Can you open up minutes for him? They just need like to open up the runway for some of these guys. And the best way to do that, at least somewhat, is definitely to trade Eric Gordon, but to then make some kind of other tough calls. What's good is I don't think they have a player that's impossible. Like, no player is impossible to move, but like, you look at, like, we came off the Spurs. They have all easy players to move, but there's not even someone on the team where it's like, oh, Doug McDermott has $13.5 million next season. Do I want to take that on? You can just move anybody. I just don't know who it's going to be. I think Eric Gordon's their most likely player to be dealt. And I don't think that, like, maybe that's arguable because the size of his salary, but who would it be after him? You don't necessarily know the route that they're going to take. So that's what I'm watching for is, will they actually move Eric Gordon at long last? And are they going to make some sort of a consolidation move?
I mean, they have to trade Gordon. He doesn't even now
that since like 2020.
Right. But now he's saying, like, the quote the other day of like, there's been no growth or there's been no progress or something, that he's like, at some point, the adult in the room, like when the adult gets cranky because he's been there for too long around all these kids, like that's not a good thing anymore. So like I think things kind of smell rotten in Houston from like a play style perspective, like in a coaching perspective, and just John Wall said some stuff. Like, I think
John Wall, a lot of that was a little revisionist. John Wall,
a lot of revisionist history, but I don't think he's wrong based on how the Rockets are playing, that like there's not a whole ton of accountability or like real professional grooming happening there. So Gordon's got to get out of there for him and for the team. But then it's like, just so what are we going to talk about now? Like Milwaukee, we're going to talk about Cleveland, we're going to talk about Memphis, we're going to talk about Miami. Just, I don't know. His salary is not that easy to match. Like, it's kind of big. You can't just
probably taking back money that's not great. Is the Miami's a perfect. I think he'd be great there, but like, how much do you need to take back Duncan Robinson? The Heat will definitely give you this year's first round pick, but is that enough?
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, he's clearly the most likely to move. After that, like, I mean, Garrison Matthews should have appeal just because he can shoot it, and then Tate, I can defend and play hard, and maybe you don't need two of those guys, and you have Eason, like you said. So, but other than Gordon, like, if the Rockets emerge from this trade deadline and Gordon is still on the roster, it almost doesn't matter what else they do. Like, they will have just failed, I think, because it's way past time.
Don't worry, I came up with a trade where he'll no longer be on their roster.
Perfect.
Are you ready?
Yes.
The Rockets receive Grayson Allen, Dario Saric, Indiana's 2025 second, that comes from Milwaukee, Phoenix's 2026 second, Milwaukee's 2027 second, Milwaukee's 2028 second, and Milwaukee's 2029 second. So it's Grayson Allen, Dario Saric, and 5 first-round picks, all of which convey after 2024. The Suns get Eric Gordon. The Bucks get Jay Crowder. So the Bucks are giving up Grayson Allen and 4 first-rounders for Jay Crowder. The Suns are giving up
4 seconds.
4 seconds. Yeah, no, 4 firsts.
Because that's a little too much for Jay Crowder. I don't know what you think. I don't think Jay Crowder. I think like maybe 3. 4 is too many for Jay Crowder.
And the Suns are giving up Dario Saric, the inactively employed Jay Crowder, and a second-round pick for Eric Gordon.
I mean, it works for me. That's just a lot of seconds.
Call it in, Raphael Stone, please.
Yeah, I think Allen. Yeah, why not? Right? Because I don't know if you're getting another year is just.
What'd you say? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said I don't think you're getting a first for Gordon. I'm not.
No, the team that might be willing to give it up. Like, let's use Milwaukee. Let's say they had a first round pick, But if you're a team that's giving up a first round pick, you for Eric Gordon, you view him as the finishing piece, in which case you might actually have to pay him $20 million next year if you win the title. I would say humbly, who the fuck cares? You want a title, pay Eric Gordon. But teams don't think that way. And so like Milwaukee has to factor that. Like they might even think, well, why are we giving up 4 seconds for this guy if we have to pay him $20 million maybe next season? I would do it, but they're not getting Eric Gordon in this scenario, clearly. But like Phoenix, that has to be part of their calculus. And so like you don't want to see Fred VanVleet in Phoenix. This is you get to keep Ayton, you give up no first, and then you get like another small player that you're still going to play with Paul and Booker in the playoffs.
Yeah. Who can guard up? I mean, Gordon can guard a 2 and a 3. VanVleet is just like a one position
and
guy.
He's going to give you, even now, is going to give you more rim pressure than VanVleet.
Yes, right. And yeah, I think there's also some potential for like the version of Eric Gordon we're seeing right now is the one that's just like, get me the fuck out of here. You know, I can be 20% better immediately just because I'm playing for a different team than the Rockets. Like that's totally, you know, we've seen it before. That's just the type of thing that, so, you know, he's not getting a first because I don't think anybody believes that the best version of Eric Gordon is worth that with all the financial stuff you've outlined. But I think you could expect something better than what he's been for sure.